Good morning, knitters. How's everybody this morning or this afternoon? I'm not sure when it is. Welcome to Recreational Knitting Podcast. This is my little place in the internets that I talk to you about my knitting, maybe your knitting, what your choices are, and all the yarny things that I get into. This is going to be a short one today. We have been traveling in the North Carolina area, and we are currently at Charlotte, North Carolina, and behind me is one of the tracks here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. I think that's the actual official name of it, and if it isn't, I'm not a race fan. Can you tell? My name is Karen, and we travel in our 39-foot RV and have been doing so since December 2019. Yes, it's been an interesting 3 years, almost 3 years, 35 months, but who's counting? I got a new mug. It's an early birthday present. My birthday is in December, and for so many years, I don't think I introduced myself. I'm Karen, by the way. I live with my husband Luke in the RV. We have 2 dogs. I knit. He fixes the RV when it needs to be fixed, and we love to ride our electric bikes and see new places. There, introduction over. I got a new mug. This is PG Tips that I'm currently drinking. My favorite tea, and I have 3 bags of it left, and I'm getting a little concerned that I'm not going to be able to find a new box of it. So if anybody knows where I can get it where it's not outrageously high, like Amazon, let me know. I'm used to buying it at my grocery store where I'm from, and I haven't been able to find it on the shelves since we were in a Target in New England. So, if anybody knows where I can get PG Tips tea, it's great, wonderful. Anyway, my birthday is, I bought this mug for my birthday, which is in December, and those of you that have December birthdays are going to realize what I'm talking about. December birthdays are, at best, deflated. Unless your parents went to made it a big deal. There was a year when I was about 9 or 10 or 11 that my mother actually forgot my birthday. December, it's busy, Christmas. And my mother worked in the schools, which Christmas is a very, very busy time. My dad was a mail carrier, I think at that time. He was postmaster before he retired, but at that time he was still a mail carrier. And that was a time when people sent Christmas cards and his bags would be quite full. So, that being said, my mother actually did forget my birthday. She didn't forget it, but the day of, she forgot. Typically, what would always happen in our family as a tradition for your birthday is that you would get a small gift at the breakfast table before you went to school. And usually it was something very little. It might be a pair of socks. It might be, if you were younger, it might be a tiny little toy, a little teddy bear, very little. And then in the evening, we would have my grandparents over for dinner and birthday cake and ice cream, and that's when I would open the real present. So that morning, I woke up, nothing at the plate, didn't say anything, thought, okay, I'm getting older, maybe this is going to be different this year. And lo and behold, day went, we ate dinner, my mother and I washing the dishes and drying the dishes, and my father went downstairs. At that time we had the rec basement, where he would watch some kind of sports related content that he could find on the 3 channels that we got. So I thought, oh, well, this is interesting. Nobody has said happy birthday to me. Nobody has said anything to me. Didn't get a card. My grandparents aren't here. What's up? And so, you know, as I'm drying dishes, I said to my mother, I said, are my mom and papa coming up for cake and ice cream? And my mother stopped in the middle of washing dishes and went, oh yeah, they're coming up. So she immediately dries her hands, goes into the bedroom where at that time we were pretty fancy. We had another phone in the bedroom, and in my parents' bedroom, not mine. And she went in and apparently called my grandmother and said, oh my God, do you have a cake? Do you have any ice cream? Hurry up and come up with it if you do, okay? And so my grandmother was a wonderful baker. She had just retired from being a first grade teacher, and this was her glory days, Christmas baking. So she had made several cakes, many cookies, all of that. And my mother spent a little time in the bedroom, apparently to wrap a present. And so when my mother came out of the bedroom and my grandparents came in the door, it looked like it had all come together. And until my mother's dying day, she denied that she'd ever forgotten my birthday. But we all know. So I bought my own birthday. Any of you with December birthdays, happy birthday. I know how it is. So, enough of that. Welcome to my little place, and I have a couple foes and a hoe. I finished my hat. What's the vote? This is made with a universal yarn, and it's the colorway Mardi Gras. And of course I don't have the tag out here with me, but I'm telling you, this is really nice and warm. Really nice and warm. I didn't think it was, I thought it was going to be too light, and it's superwash, so it's, you know, going to be a little less warm, but I kind of like it, and it matches my glasses. I'm so excited, and I'm going to make some fingerless mitts with this same yarn starting after the holidays. So yeah, so I'm excited. This is based on the photographer hat. I kind of followed the directions until I lost the directions, and then it's from there on out. I can't blame anything on her, but it turned out nice. I like it. This was recommended by Aquila of the Lefty Knitter podcast. This is one of her favorite patterns, and she makes quite a few of them. And so I thought I'd try the pattern. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. I don't know the name of the designer at this time, but I'm sure if you Google photographer's hat, it'll come up. Remember last time I had a hoe, and then almost part of the second sock, all but the ribbing. I was able to find that same yarn at a little store called Purl's Emporium in Ashville, North Carolina. This is made with CoBaSi, which is a Skein yarn, and the first, I thought 220 yards would be able to make a shortie. Well, I'd say 230 yards of this yarn would make a shortie, a pair of shorties. So, Anyway, I was so glad that she had it, and she went out of her way on her day off to take it to her home. I purchased it, picked it up off her porch in Ashville, North Carolina. So any of you that ever go to Asheville, North Carolina, Purl's Emporium is service oriented. I'll just leave it at that. Anyway, so I have 2 finished objects. I'm really excited. These fit like a glove. I don't know how they'll wear. I'll let you know. I'll probably wear them sometime this week. Obviously, they don't match. Didn't have that option because I didn't have very much yarn. So I'm okay with sibling socks. So that's 2 finished objects this week. What's going on here? And I have a hoe. I picked up some scrap yarn. This is something that I used in a shawl. This is Urth Sock yarn. And this, obviously that's the same. I've got about half of the other sock, which I forgot to bring outside. I've got that finished, half finished. I'm about an inch from starting the gusset. So I should have another finished object maybe next week. I looked in my closet, and I felt like I needed shorties since we were getting into more Florida, warmer weather, or so I thought. It was 22 this morning, Fahrenheit. I don't know what that makes it Celsius because I'm adult, but it's cold, and shorties probably aren't the way to go, but I wear shorties pretty much every day, regardless of the weather. And I thought I'm going to use some of this scrap yarn up. This was also used in a shawl of some sort. I think it was my Vertices Unite that I gave my daughter last Christmas. This, I believe, was Lolo Did It, the blue, and excellent yarn. Urth, would not recommend. 1 star. It's very splitty. It's not fun to work with. I'm a knitter. When I knit socks, that's TV knitting. And I just want to be able to knit. And you have to be very careful with this yarn. So this actually, the rest of it that I have left, may go into what is it called? Habituation blanket? Does that sound right? Throw? I'm going to start one of those after the holidays as well. So that might be the only way I go with this, or it'll go in a Goodwill bag. So I have 2 faux, a hoe. All right. And I found something this week that it got buried. These are my crunkle socks. I'd had one done before. This is by the Bakery Bears. Kay Jones is the designer. And I had started the second one late because I couldn't find the opal that I was using for the ribbing. So I started that, and I think I was down to about here when I noticed that I was off, and I was off by 1. I had an extra stitch. So I pulled it all back, and I'm a little bit of ahead, and I think I'm about very close to starting heel things, whatever the pattern says for me to do. And this is West Yorkshire yarns. They're sock yarn, and the color is peacock. This is one of my favorite sock yarns. It's really a workhorse, but it's not as rough feeling as some of the other workhorse, like Opal and Regia, however you say that. And I'm losing a stitch here. So, this is one of my favorites, and I'll probably have enough left over to make a pair of shorties if I use something else for the heel toe ribbing. It feels like I have plenty. So, working on that this week. And that lives in this little bag from an Etsy maker that I don't remember. And my purple sweater has seen some love, not a lot, but some. We're almost to binding off the ribbing. 2 weeks ago I was here and I had just started the ribbing last time, and I've made significant progress with that, and I think I want to do maybe 2 or 3 more rows of the ribbing before I bind off. This is my go-to sweater when I'm just needing some comfort knitting, and it's made with BioBalance yarn in the colorway Lilac, and that's made by BC Garn. And I noticed that it was at Little Knits this week at 20% off. I think it was $7.99 as Skein, and I think I bought 5 Skeins to make my last green sweater. So yeah, if you're so inclined and want to get a sweater's worth of this to try, I like it. It's 55% wool and 45% cotton, which makes it a nice lightweight, pretty much all season sweater. Oh, and I forgot, I'm wearing that same pattern with slightly different neck. As you see, I didn't do any of the ribbing on the neckline, and I'm actually not wearing anything under this except my bra. And this is made in Hedgehog Fibers sock yarn, and I don't remember the colorway, but it's, you know, it needs to be depilled. I'm going to the doctor today, so I'll depill it before I go. So hopefully I'll find out something about my knees. Now, those are all the things that I've really kind of worked on this week. Haven't done a lot of big planning because we've been very busy. I got to see a childhood friend when we were in Ashville, North Carolina. Hadn't seen her since college, and it was wonderful to speak with her. Hi, Rachel, if you're following this. And we decided that it had been at least 40 years since we'd seen each other. She looks great. It's just, we grew up in the church together, and she lived in Pennsylvania. I lived in Maryland, and right on the line, and our families knew each other well, and it was just great to see her. Another person that I saw this week was my second cousin once removed, or something like that. Hi, Anne, if you're watching. I got to meet her granddaughter for the first time, who just turned 3. Charlotte is a beautiful little girl with blonde ringlets and is very well behaved for that age. We sat and talked for a few hours in a sandwich shop, and Charlie was very well behaved, so that was an enjoyable time. I got to see her husband Bill. We decided we hadn't seen each other for about 9 years. So I had been to Knoxville about 9 years ago. They live in Knoxville, and we met in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So that was a lovely, lovely day. One of the things that I will be doing next time is picking a winner for last time's favorite yarn question. I think we've gotten about 52 responses so far, which is great. So if you're new to this podcast, I'd like to invite you to go back to row 31 and check it out and leave a comment, and that way everybody will be ready for me picking a winner for next week when I podcast. Which leads me to the next giveaway. I've got a bag of love right here that I keep adding to on the daily. We've got some minis, I've got some pom-poms, pom-pom makers, excuse me. I've got some sock yarn, several sock yarns. I've got some sheepies, however you say that one, cotton in here. I've got some Zen Yarn Garden yarn, sock yarn in there. I've got some needles. I think there's a couple markers in there, and I'll probably be adding to this bag of love. And this will be for our 750 subscriber giveaway. This morning, I think I was at 714. Blows me away. But we're very close, so if you feel so inclined, please like, subscribe, and comment below. It helps get the algorithms for YouTube, which I can't ever figure out, but it gets the word out to those people that are knitters, primarily, but also might be interested in traveling and living in an RV and being a knitter. So there's that. One of the things that I wanted to announce, if you didn't see the community post or the post on Instagram, I will be doing Vlogmas. Will I be doing it every day? I don't know. Everything depends today on this doctor's appointment. For those of you that don't know, I have a couple bum knees right now. It's osteoarthritis, and I don't know what he'll recommend, but I think that he'll recommend at least a few weeks of some PT to get things better. At least that's my hope. I hope that he doesn't recommend surgery right away. That would really bum me out. But that's my goal today, is to try to get some physical therapy ordered, and then that would mean that we would stay in the Charlotte, the Charlotte, North Carolina for a few weeks, and probably at this campground. So, if we stay here in Charlotte, it's likely that I'll do something most days until Christmas. I can't promise that it'll be every day, but I have a few ideas, and one of them is that I have my little bag of love all ready to go, and I'm going to be working on double pointed needles probably for the first time in a long time. I'll be using some Rowan felted tweed. This is some brown sheep DK. Let's see if you can see those if I move things. And we got some more felted tweed. Let's try this. That might work better. And then I have some Harrisville designs, which really should go on the bottom. But those are my colors for the projects that I'll be working on in December for Vlogmas. I hope you join me. What I'm going to be doing, besides working on double points, excuse me, is I will be working on, and hopefully you can see that, this is a free pattern from Blue Sky Fibers. I'll be making like mini mittens, and then I will also be making little mini hats, which may or may not have accompanying pom-poms. We'll see how good I am. I'll be making these into a garland to put across our living area in the rig, and hopefully I'll be adding lights to that garland. So those of you that have been with me for a while have seen my triangular garland in the front of the rig, and I have enjoyed that so much that I decided to do this for Christmas. So I had all of this yarn. I didn't have to purchase a thing. Maybe that'll be a screenshot. What do you think? We'll see. And I've had this for a year. My plan was to make Christmas stockings for Luke and I. Well, you know, after Christmas, it's hard to get into that Christmas spirit. And I'd even purchased the pattern from Arnie and Carlos. But I think it's going to be this instead. I can always buy more, right? So we will be doing all kinds of different yarny things with that Vlogmas. I intend to decorate some ugly sweater cookies. I'll take you around. At the Speedway, they have a light show, and we're going to do that one evening, and so you'll get a bit of that. I will show you the Christmas trees from the Biltmore Estate in Ashville, North Carolina. And some whatever else we get into. Since I have no kids that are young any longer, Christmas has become rather a blah season, for lack of a better word. We don't do the things that we used to do. We had traditions. We went to a special store and pick out ornaments for the tree for the kids, and all of the things that make a family a family. Well, they are now on their own and doing their own things. But so I'm going to try to bring a little bit of spirit back into the Christmas season through my knitting and through the things that we do on a daily basis, which may or may not be interesting. Not sure. You can decide. Anyway, they won't be very long videos, 5, 10, 15 minutes tops. So hopefully you'll join us and enjoy and that of course will start December 1st, and enjoy the Vlogmas season. I know that Leslie from Not Enough, I'm not sure what she's calling it these days. It was Not Enough Distance, I don't know, Not Enough Yarn, Not Enough. Anyway, Leslie from Not Enough Weather, Good Weather, I don't know, is also doing Vlogmas. So I don't know of any other podcasters right at the moment that are doing it. Oh yes, I do. Finished Knitting Stories. Beautiful, beautiful Vlogmas. So if you don't know about her Vlogmas, it's definitely worth watching. She's a yarn dyer from Finland who has small children to cook, bake, decorate for, and just is a lovely person. So try those out, and I hope you stay for my Vlogmas. And on that note, I will see you next week, where we'll announce a winner for your favorite yarn. Bye. Oh my goodness, this is editing, Karen. Holy moly. You see these notes? Well, my camera was sitting on it so it wouldn't fall through the holy picnic table that anyway, yeah. So here are plans for administration. This is what I wanted to tell you. My goodness. I told you about the 750 giveaway. We talked about that, but we did not talk about a knit along on January the 1st. We are going to make this finish it up knit along, so that things that you have neglected for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. We're going to use January and February to finish up those projects. So I'll announce more about that later, but anything that you've got on your needles today qualifies, and if you finish it, no matter how many finishes you do, those will be entries. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was my personal plans for 2023. I have always made a make 9, and those of you that don't know what that is, I have posted that to my Instagram account, where you just list 9 things in a grid, like a tic-tac-toe grid, that you want to accomplish in the new year. And I'm going to continue to do that, even though it usually falls apart about March, because new patterns come out, new things, new ideas, new yarns. I don't need to tell you. So I have committed already to paper what I am going to do, and I'll just list them very quickly, and you can start thinking about maybe your 2023 plans. My make 9 for the new year are to make Andrea Mowry's, I think it's called the Shift. I am not certain, but it's mosaic. It's kind of a triangular, and it uses mosaic knitting. I have the yarn, the pattern, it's in a bag, it's ready to go, just never have started it. So that's one that I want to make. That should be pretty easy to accomplish. I want to make fingerless mitts. I want to try something with color work. I've tried it before in the past. My tension is never good. So I'm going to really try it this year, and I probably will do a Jen Steinglass design. I have bought a couple of hers, and I'm going to try to do that. Then I'm going to do a short sleeve sweater. I don't commit to the pattern. Then I'm going to use the yarn that I bought at Nag's Head for a short sleeve sweater. So technically I could probably use that as one. Then I've left room for myself to try a new pattern that will inevitably catch my eye and want me to knit it. And then I want to do a fade sweater. I've been wanting to do that, and I actually have the yarn for it. It's just never happened. Then I'm going to make a pair of shorty socks, because I do remain pragmatic. I will wear those for sure, and commit to those I will. And then my last one, which will probably be the most difficult for me, is to learn brioche. I've never done brioche before, but that's what I'm going to do. So that's mine. Try putting yours down on paper. Just Google make 9 for knitters, and it's just a tic-tac. You don't need to make anything fancy. Just write it down and commit to 9 things that you really want to accomplish for your knitting in the new year. Okay, Editing Karen says thanks. Bye now. For real. Bye-bye.